Hi everybody, this is Jen from Scrapping Posh, and today we are doing an artistic studio creation design team process video. It may stretch over several different videos, so we are going to be using the Graphic 45 6x8 by 3 inch rectangle tag and pocket album, which this is kind of like the size of album that I always make. So if you're ever feeling like lazy and you want to use a pre-made album, this is a good one. It comes with pockets and side pockets and big tags with big grommets in it. And yeah, so I think mine got damaged while I was cleaning, but no problem. So 6x8 by 3 Graphic 45 has this nice book plate on it, so we'll have to figure out what we're going to do with that. And then I'm also using the Graphic 45 Lost in Paradise collection. I used a tiny bit of this collection already, so we're going to try and put a dent in it. I have the solids in patterns, I have the 8x8, and then I have the 12x12 and the 12x12 stickers and the journaling tags. So lots of options there. So yeah, let's get started. I've been cleaning my room, so I got something on it too, but that's not going to be a big deal because we're going to cover it. So yeah. So excited to get started. We may even modify some of these pages. There's a good gusset in here if you wanted to put decorations on it. I typically don't put extra stuff, bulky stuff like flowers and stuff in mine, but you can definitely. I'm looking for my ruler. Can't find it, but I got this one. So looks like a 1/2 inch gusset, so 6 pages. The 1/2 inch gusset, each page has one flat, a double pocket page, and the big pocket at the end. So lots of potential there. So let's get started. Okay, I am super happy to be back in my craft room, and I want to start here on this Graphic 45 album. Now, we have I don't want to say plain, because they do have details. They have pockets, they have side pockets and pages. If you guys don't want to construct an album base, these are awesome. But I'm thinking that I could maybe do a little bit more with it. So while we are doing our album here, let's add some details, because they do have a big 1/2 inch gusset between each page, and that will either allow you to put embellishments that are you know, pretty good size, or it'll allow you to build your pages up some more. So let's do that. It already has a metal like book plate, like nameplate on it, so we'll leave that there, and we'll probably just put it doesn't have a slide to put anything in there, but since if we want to leave this on the way it is, we can always pull it off, but it is held in by a brad. You can see here on this that it has a brad closure, so we could pull it off and then, you know, let's do the spine and then glue it back on. But let's go ahead and decorate the spine with maybe some cutouts and stuff like that. So for the spine at least, we're going to do some fussy cutting, and then we'll see about the front and back. But what I like to do is maybe start on building up some of these pages and getting some ideas. So I'm gonna get some just regular. So I have I got some regular black cardstock, And let's just start making some pockets, tags, pulls, and stuff like that. And we'll bulk up this album. If you don't know, there are different shades of black. And this one, you can tell it's a little different. So, the front cover here, the inside of the front cover is about 5 3/4 inches. If we do a 5 3/4 inch pocket on here, I think it'll be perfect. The front and back are very good for heavy duty items like pockets to fill full, or even expanding pockets, which I've done before. Also good for waterfalls. So we'll do 5 3/4, and then we'll do the whole thing is 8 inches, so you figure about a 3-inch, 2 3/4 to 3-inch pocket height would be good, using like the 1/3 rule or the 2/3 rule. So it's 5 3/4 by 3 inches will do. So I'm going to cut my paper 3 inches by 6 3/4, which is going to give us enough to put the gussets on either side, and then we'll just glue the bottom straight. So I'm going to cut my paper. I got 12 by 12s here. I should see if I have 8 by 8s, but they're buried right now, so we're going to go with this. I'm going to cut my paper to 3 inches. And then 6 3/4. And then we're going to score on each side at a 1/2 inch. Now, if you want a pocket on the back, you could do this twice. So if you don't want to measure in quarters, you can just do a 1/2 inch turn and do a 1/2 inch. That's the easy way to do it. So we're using the tropical paper Lost in Paradise. So as I'm doing this, I'll take this label off. As I'm doing this, I'm trying to think of maybe like embellishments or something that would make sense for this particular paper. And then you can either like put score tape on the side or glue. I have glue right here. If it's not clogged, we're good to go. Now, sometimes people like to mat before they put their pockets on so that they can get like a full coverage on the page, but I like being able to put my mat down in the pocket a little. So when I mat this, I'll cut it to about here, and then I'll just, you can see that I have about an 1/8 inch on either side of this pocket, but you can cut it long enough here and then just give it a little angle. Okay, so that'll be cute for the inside. And then I was thinking that maybe we could do a 3 by 4 card here that flips open, and then we don't have to have a closure on that or a magnet or anything, because everything sticking in here will hold it down. So the 3 by 4 card, we're going to do a horizontal one because of the orientation of this. I don't know which one we're going to use yet, but we're going to use a horizontal one. So I'm going to cut a flap that is 3 1/8. That'll give us just a 1/16 of an inch border around all sides by 4 5/8. Okay, and then if you want to test it out, just grab any of your 3x4 cards and it'll look like that. And we can always round the corners. We can round them later if you want. My corner rounder is going to be too big, so I'm just going to leave that for now. Make up my mind later. It's easier to do it at this point, but sometimes not practical. Okay, so I'm just going to score this at a 1/2 inch. And the good thing about doing this to your albums first and getting everything that you want on them, granted there's going to be some things that you can't glue down, but you can definitely get them ready, is that once you start with the pattern paper, you can just kind of go. Okay, so we have to make a decision whether, do we want this on the side here so that it, excuse me, do we want it on the side here so that it looks, you know, like it's just an extension of this, or should we kind of put it in the middle? Without the tags in there, or whatever we're going to put in this pocket, I'm going to say the middle is going to look better. So let's go ahead and stick it in the middle. Okay, here. And then if you want to add some more detail, I got a lot of paper. So I have a lot of paper. I have a lot of gusset room, so I can add a lot of different stuff. So we have this pocket that's going to be closed by whatever is sticking in, or I'm sorry, this flap that's going to be closed by whatever's sticking in this pocket. So we could do something underneath it if we wanted. Question is, what should we do? We could do one that opens sideways. We could do another photo mat here, but we would want to do that afterwards. I can put a pocket on here on the inside of this, either long ways or let's go ahead and make this a side pocket in here. So this is 3 1/8, so I'm going to cut my little scrap here at 4 1/8, maybe by 2 inches. I didn't cut very much of it off at all lengthwise. And then we're going to go 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. Now, if you are not a fussy cutter and you just want to mat your entire paper, then putting this on here right now would not be a good option for you, because you have to go around it to mat. But my intention on this one is to do some, oh, what do I want to say? Do some fussy cutting and just kind of leave a lot of white space. In this case, it's black space, but okay, so we're gonna go ahead and give this guy a pocket. And now you'll have a fun pocket to put little tags and stuff in. If you have, if you get glue on the outside of your paper. You just get like a wet cloth or something and wipe it off. Okay, so I'm good with that. Let's leave that the way it is. Now we have a lot going on here, so we can choose to leave this page blank if we want. The other thing that I want to do is go ahead and make tags for these big side pockets, because I want to cut those first because they're big. So I'm going to stick my ruler down here as far as it'll go, and that's about 5 inches. And again, the pages are about 7.5. So let's go, I don't want it sticking too far out because we don't have a lot of room here, but let's go 5 inches by, let's do 7.25. See how that works. But I want to do a card like, so we're going to go 10 inches by 7.25, and that will be 1, 6, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, hold on, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I was right. Okay, so 10 by 7.25. So I always cut. Of course, the sticker's gonna be right there. I always cut the big sheets first, and that includes matting too, so that you can get the most out of your paper. Like if you cut up an entire sheet of paper to make pockets and stuff like that, you end up wasting more than if I cut these out first and then I use the scraps from that page to make my pockets and flaps. So this is 10 by 7.25, scored at 5 inches, and perfectly scored at 5 inches. And I just want to do one before I do the rest of them to make sure that it's going to do what I want it to do. And we take, and this side has a tag on it, so I want to take and put it in this pocket. Now this pocket is kind of tight. I may have to go 10 by 7. I think that's a little too tight. So let's cut this down to 7 and see if it looks okay. It's a little smaller, 1/4 inch, not much. And that fits much better. I like that. The effect is going to be okay still. So let's do 5 more 10 by 7. Now that I have these base pages done, these 10 by 7s, I still have the option to put corners, you know, do the corner rounding on them, or even use some punches to give a decorative edge. So as I start putting the pattern paper in, we'll see if maybe there's a border punch or something that I think may go with it. Okay. So, and then also putting these in there kind of gives you an idea of the bulk of your album. So that you don't overstuff it. So again, these are going to go to the back of the pockets because the front pocket has tags on it, or if you'd rather, you can put them to the front of the pocket and just move the tag to the back. However you want. We'll see how it turns out. Maybe that's what we'll do. However, or we can go like half and half. It's whatever keeps things interesting. These are interactive albums, so you want to keep them interesting. Alrighty. So now we got our mats in. We still got plenty of room to grow. So, like I said, this page is kind of busy. We could leave this one blank. We can even add a flap that opens this way. That may be a good option. We can make almost a full page flap. And I'm going to say that for this, we don't need necessarily a closure for that. So let's just go ahead and make one. I'll measure this page one more time. I'm going to write these measurements down. 7.5 by 5.5. That way I don't have to keep looking. So I'm going to cut it 7.5 by 6.5, or 7.5 by 6, so I have a 1/2 inch. And again, I'm using the scraps from the stuff that I did here, because the ones I did from the tags aren't good on me. I have one 7.5 by 6. I'm going to score it on the short side. At 5.5 inches. And then I'm going to check to make sure that it's not going to run into my spine. So I don't want to bend it, but it looks like in this album, excuse me, the pages are about 1/8 inch away from the bend, the fold, so I'm good. Nice design feature of the album. And just going to use score tape for this one because it's laying here. I'm going to get all the way to the edge. The good thing about score tape is it's easy. It doesn't have to dry. It's it's tape. The bad thing about score tape, it's not repositionable at all. So if I glue something down crooked, with glue, I can just move it. Score tape, you don't get that option. I'm lining it up straight with the edge of that first page. Alright, so that's nice. We got the cover, we got a pocket, a flap, and the first page flap. We've just doubled our real estate there. So I have a lot of paper that I can use in this album, so I'm not limited to how much stuff I can add to it. As long as it doesn't get too bulky, we're good. Okay, so we have now this layout, which will be nice for, a bigger spread. Like we could do one of the bigger images there. And I don't really want to put anything here, but let's put something here. Or here. So there's pockets already. How How about a small pocket? But I'm not going to put the pocket on yet because I want to mat this first. So how about a pocket like this? So I don't want it to go all the way across. I just want a small pocket. So let's make it about 3.5 inches. So I'm going to cut this piece of paper down. It is already 3 inches. So we're going to make it 3 by 4.5. And I am going to score at a 1/2 inch. On the short sides. And then I don't want to glue it on yet because it's going to go on top of what's already there. So I'm just going to take some washi tape. And tape that down. And give me a clear idea of what I had in mind. So we'll have a small pocket there. We can leave this side the way it is, and we'll leave this side plain too. And if I want to put a magnet in there, I definitely can. Okay, now we have this pocket here, and this page is plain. We have a plain page here, so let's do, how about a belly band over here? Now belly band is something that you don't want to put on until afterwards. My pages are 7.5, so I'm going to cut this to 8.5. And we'll do it lengthwise. And score it on the short side, 1/2 inch. So score at 8, 1/2 inch, and 8. Okay, test fit that. That looks good. And again, we're not going to put it on yet, so we'll use washi tape. If your paper is not very smooth, just handle the washi tape a little before you put it on so that it doesn't rip it later. And let's put a placeholder over here. Let's do, how about let's do a flap placeholder. Like we can put, let's do a little longer one. We can put the belly band there, and then we can have this flap holding everything in, and put a magnet here, I think. So if we're going to put this in the middle, we want the flap to be about 4 inches long, and so I'm going to make it 4.5. And we'll leave it at whatever this is, 2 inches. So we're going to cut that at 4.5. And then score a 1/2 inch on the short side. And then this one we can go ahead and glue down. And then that way when we shove things in there, it can just butt up against that and this side. So use my glue again. Lots of fun stuff we can do here. And every once in a while I check to make sure that I'm not getting too fat. So remember, we still have to mat everything. Everything will be doubled essentially. Okay, a nice pocket here. We'll just leave that. Again, we made all the flaps. And then we have 2 plain pages here. Oh, no, we have a pocket on this one and a plain page here. So we can do, we can leave this this pocket the way it is. We can even build another pocket on it if we want, but I think I'm going to leave that for one of the plain pages, just to do a triple pocket or quadruple pocket. So how about we do another 3x4 flap? I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 3x4 journaling cards this way, and we can even double that because we have 8, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 the other way too. So let's do a 3x4 flap going this way, but this time we're not going to put it on because I want to mat the back of these first. So I'm going to cut it at 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to cut it at 3 5/8 by 4 1/8. And again, I'm still using those scraps from when I did the mats. So this is 3 1/8 by 4 5/8, and I'm going to score it on the short side at a 1/2 inch. Okay, and I'm just going to use my washi tape. There we go. That gives that a little bit of extra interest. And then on this page, let's do a side pocket, or let's do a double side pocket. Okay, so this page is 7 1/2. Now a double side pocket is something that we want to, if you're doing a short version, let's do a long version of a double side pocket. So page is 7 1/2 by 5 1/2. So the double side pocket, we want to put the hinges on the short side, no, the long sides. So 7 1/2 divided by 2 is 3 3/4, right? So I need 3 3/4 plus an inch for the gussets, 4 3/4 by 5 1/2, and we need 2 of them. Let's see if I have one that's 5 1/2. I don't think I do. Okay, so 5 1/2, 5 1/2, and 3 3/4. It was supposed to be 4 3/4. So 4 3/4 by 5 1/2, and we're going to score on the long sides, 1/2 inch on each side. Now we could definitely put these on now, but what I want to do is do a punch here, and I want to do that either while I'm matting or after I'm matting, because I am no good at lining those up. So I just have a better chance of being successful if I wait to do that. So again, I'm just going to use the washi tape to hold that on. But the double pocket will look like that, and you'll have tags stuck in there with a little cutout. And I may trim off when I put it all together. I may trim off just a little bit so that it doesn't stick over that fold. I think the pages without the pockets may be just a tiny bit smaller. So I'm just going to tape those in. And if you think you're going to forget what it is, you can always just put a sticky note in there, double pocket or whatever, to remind you. And then these, you don't want this too bulky, because this is just a normal piece of paper folded in half. So if you make it too bulky, it won't close right, because it's not part of the hinge system here. the pages that are within the hinges, you can actually bulk up to about an 1/8 inch each if you wanted to. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and do the triple pocket here. And I may have to break into, I cut a couple things wrong. I may have to break into my bigger full sheets of paper. That one will work, that one will work. The only one that needs to be like big is the bottom one. It only needs to be about 3 inches again. So let's go ahead and take this, and I just want to make sure. I'm going to cut this to 6.5 by 3, or how about just a multi-layer really small pocket, because I have all these scraps. And we can just build that up. So let's see how many we can get on there. I'm going to cut these to 6.5. You don't want one really close to the top because you can't put anything in it after that. I think 4 is going to be our max, and we may not use that 4th one, so I'm going to score both of these at a 1/2 inch on each side on the short side. Okay, and these we can definitely put on. And I'm not worried about that. I could actually put it on the other side if I wanted to. So the bottom pocket gets the sides and the bottom done. And the rest of the pockets are just going to get the sides done. So that each pocket you can facilitate the same tag size essentially. And this, it's overlapping a little bit on this side. Not, well, maybe not. I think it's like perfect, and that's okay because you have that 1/8 inch before you get to your fold. Okay, now this one is going to seat inside that pocket. So I'm going to take my scissors and do a cut approximately 1/4 inch off the bottom there. And what that's going to allow me to do is both sides here, and then it's going to nestle right down into this pocket. And you just make sure that, you know, you may, if you cut it a little different, you just want to make sure that this is straight here. So find this. You can see that that one holds that. And this one will hold the same height of a paper, but it's staggered. So let's do this one the same way. Cut it about 1/4 inch off at a diagonal and tuck. Now if you didn't want them to go all the way through and you wanted it to layer, then you just glue the bottoms of each one. But you would only be able to hold, in this case, about 2 inches. Okay, so I'm seeing like this is all that's left. So if I put this here, essentially I would just have a little slither at the top. So I'm going to keep this for later. Maybe we'll do a different pocket. One thing I'm going to do is measure to make sure that we're about the same, and we are. We're good there. So we got a triple pocket on this side, and we can do something here because it is part of the, you know, it has the gusset there. So let's do, should we do, I have some of these, they're the same size. We could do like just a double flap on this side that goes open this way, and then a single flap on this side that goes open this way. And we can just use what we already have here. We'll just score at a 1/2 inch on each side. So these are 4.5 by 5. So we're going to score them on the 5-inch side. And then we can glue. I'm going to do this side first for no specific reason. And I want this one right in the middle. This is going to be kind of a closure for the other two if we decide to put a magnet or something on there. And then these two we'll glue. I'll do the bottom one first. And we'll just butt it right up against the edge of that page in the bottom. And then this one is going to tuck inside that one so that there will be a little bit more left there. You can just do them like right next to each other so that they don't overlap this way. But I never cut them straight enough to do that. It looks funny. So here. Just make sure everything closes it when you're done. Okay. So we'll be able to mat here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. And if you want, we can even make these two into pockets going this way. So let's explore that option. We have 4.5. So I have 2 of these. I happen to have 2 of these. They're 4.5 by 3 3/4. Or I'm sorry, they're 3 3/4 by 5.5. So all I have to do is score them on the 5.5 inch side. It's really fun when you find things that already are the measurements of what you need. And then, again, I think on these I want to do the half circle. Okay, so we have that page ready. Let's go to the next. And let's do, I have this, I'm running out of big, I have this little, this was the other pocket. Let's use this as a belly band. It fits there good. And of course we want to mat before we put the belly band on. And then let's do a place or a so it doesn't slide out. I was gonna say, let's do a smaller flap up. So this one, this is just one I had laying there. It's 5 1/4 by 3. So we'll score that at a 1/2 inch on the long side. And this one will flip up. We'll put a magnet under it so that we can use it as intended. And I'm just going to center it on this because you're going to have about an 1/8 inch on either side. A little less. Okay. There we go. And just line that up with the bottom paper. So you'll tuck things down there and then that'll flip up and it will hold them in place. Okay, and then I always like to add a little pocket in front of these little pockets. I just think it looks cute. So I have this little square and that'll be perfect, I think. I'll just score this on 3 sides. Okay, and then if we want to change this up a little bit, like let's say we have a sticker or something that fits on it really good, we can cut some off. It's going to be really fun to have all of this out of the way so that all we have to do is decorate. So this is a cute little pocket, so we can put it here or we can put it this way. And we'll have something sticking out that way. So, and again, we want to mat first. I may not, I may change my mind, leave this black and just mat that. So this one needs to move over a little bit. Okay, and then we have again the pocket. We can just leave that one plain. Check. You see how this side's getting built up? We've done 1, 2, just 2 of the pages so far. Yeah, we've done 2 of the pages so far, and this is the 3rd, so it's starting to stack up. There's 2 pages just here. Okay, so this one, when you get to the center of the books, they tend not to want to lay as flat, but it still lays pretty flat, so we should be good. Okay, so we have a pocket here, and we still have to make all of our tags and stuff, so we'll still use quite a bit of paper. We don't want a bunch of buildup here because this is the bigger part. So this is where the gusset is. So let's see. What can we make in here? We'll do, how about a flip up? So the page is 7.5, so I'm going to cut this to 8. And score it a 1/2 inch. And this can go right on top. And I think I want it centered. So we'll peek out a little on the sides. And then let's take and put a pocket on that maybe. Or not sure here. What size was that? That was about 4 3/4. So let's do one underneath it, I think. Glue's not dry yet. So 5.5, so I'm cutting this at 6.5, and it's, I think, 2 inches, just a scrap from before. And we'll score it a 1/2 inch each. And this one gets glued bottom and side. Just make sure your page closes. We're good. That's kind of neat. Okay, now this would be a good place to put a waterfall. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut my parts and fold them for the waterfall, and I'll just tell you what the dimensions are. Okay, so I cut 5 squares, 5 by 5, and scored them at a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to again not put these in because I want to see what image I'm going to use, and I may want to cut them down a little bit. The other thing is that I like the idea of an image and like a journaling spot, but I don't know that I'm going to do it on here. So let's leave those, and I'm not going to tape those in because that's just too much tape, but I have a paper clip. And we'll just paper clip them on there. And if you need to write yourself a note like waterfall, you can do that. So, and the other thing is I want to put some kind of decoration on them, and I don't know if I'm going to do a border or just a punch in the corner. So I'm just not sure about that. One of the things I've never done before is a closure for my waterfall. I think I want to do that on this one, but I'm not sure, because what I could do is I could put a magnet here, like, and then put a magnet on this and the magnet on like the first flap. But if I do my traditional waterfall where I cut each one, it may cover the details. So I'm going to leave that off for now. And on this side, I have a pocket on the back and a flap. Let's do another double flap, I think. So I think my pages again are 7.5 by 5.5. So let's go 7 by 5.5, and then we'll score on the 1/2 inch side. So it'll be 7 by 5. Oh, I was doing something and I covered up my stuff. I have been on the Artistic Studio Creation design team for over a year now, and Crystal and Sherry are awesome. I've been on other design teams, and I've actually resigned from those design teams and stuck with Crystal and Sherry. They're not the biggest shop, but the customer service is wonderful, and being on a smaller design team from a smaller shop is wonderful. So I want to thank them for being awesome to me, and I'm sure they'll probably never hear this, which is fine, because I just wanted to let everybody know that they are quite awesome. So, yeah, if you like small groups and personal service, go to Artistic Studio Creation. They have a Facebook Live feed every Thursday. And they have giveaways and all sorts of awesomeness. But I started reading these books that Crystal had told me about, and I fell head over heels with the author. I'm actually reading, well, I'm reading both of them, but my favorite series is different from hers. The name of the author is Cheryl and Kenyon, and she's a romance, fantasy romance novelist. And Crystal likes the Dark Hunter series, and I like the League series more. I like the Dark Hunter series too. But, so in Georgia, there's a thing called Dragon Con, and that's where Crystal's from. And Cheryl and Kenyon's there, and I was like, oh, I want to go so bad, but I couldn't this year. So Crystal went and got me, I'm so excited, 2 signed books, and this is the series that I really like, and then this is a series that I haven't started reading, but it's book 1 of that series, so that's awesome. I am so excited, and she got them signed for me. I am baffled. So I just wanted to say thank you and let you guys know how awesome she is, that she did that for me. You know, above and beyond just providing me with scrapbooking material to promote her shop, but it's really nice. I was not expecting it, So, I don't know, it's just a nice gesture that I never expected, but I'm very appreciative of. Okay, back to this. I went ahead and taped those in, a double flap here, and we can put a magnet there, we'll see. I'm going to check the size of this. I still got lots of room. This size is an inch bigger than the size spine I usually make, so no problems there. I should be able to bulk it up even more than I normally do. So now again, these 2 pages are the inside flap. I don't want to bulk them up a whole bunch, but I can always add a flap or a pocket. And I think what we're going to do on this one is maybe do a frame of sorts. So I'm going to leave myself a sticky note, and it's kind of going to depend on what I have. Here we go. What I have available. Okay, so let's see. I'm running out of ideas, you guys. So let's look. This was page 1. This was page 2, and I'm working on page 3. Let's start decorating and then repeat on the last 3 pages, unless I come up with something else while I'm decorating. But I feel the need to start cutting into this beautiful graphic 45 pattern paper.